Ladies and gentlemen, Trump is now deeply concerned about looking bad. Boy, I tell you, he's definitely late for this party. He's been looking bad since the beginning. Remember when you were calling this whole thing a hoax? You weren't concerned about looking bad then, but now you're concerned about looking bad. So, this is a story that recently came out on NPR. Trump says more testing makes US look bad, but its availability remains a concern. So, testing is still a major issue, but Trump says all of the testing being done in America makes us look bad. Ooh, boy, I can tell you, Trump's concerns are definitely not my concerns at all. Okay. You've been looking bad from the beginning. You look bad when you were ignoring this thing. You look bad when you were calling it a hoax. You look bad when you said 15 people had it and by next week it would go away. Nothing this man has said to us has panned out to be true. But now, at this very moment, he's concerned about us looking bad if we get tested. Woo, talk about not having your priorities right. The coronavirus in recent days edged over to President Trump, at least two White House aides, and no, actually three, because Ivanka's aide also has coronavirus. And we know about Vice President Pence, press secretary, and Trump's valet. Because of that, three key members of the Trump administration's pandemic response team are quarantining. And one of those doctors is Anthony Fauci, who's in quarantine now. So it's Dr. Robert Redfield, Stephen Hahn, and Anthony Fauci. Redfield is the head of the CDC and prevention. Hans is head of the Food and Drug Administration, and Fauci is the director of the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases, and is the nation's top infectious disease experts. Well, since they all have been exposed, they are now all in isolation. So Trump says this looks bad. Well, Trump, you just can't hide everything. Okay, so the hearing, which they have entitled COVID-19 Safely Getting Back to Work and Back to School, will now be done via video conference. Now, they're telling you to go back to work in school as they're in isolation over COVID-19. Oh boy, you can't make this up. You can't. You can't make it up. You just simply can't make this up. They are telling you to go back to work, open up the country, go back to school, and their asses, while they're telling you this, is sitting in quarantine. Oh man, this country is never at a loss for laughs. The chair of that committee, Tennessee Republican Lamar Alexander, is also self quarantining. His office announced Sunday night that a member of the staff tested positive for COVID-19. Alexander will chair Tuesday's hearing from Tennessee. Mm-mm-mm. They're having a conference on reopening the country while they're all in quarantine. Oh, yeah, that's going to persuade a lot of people. In recent days, Alexander has said that the coronavirus testing the United States has done so far is not nearly enough, and there is no safe path for to combat the novel coronavirus without adequate testing. Trump has touted the overall number of tests, that have been conducted in the country, now more than 8 million. But at times he reads a different message in them. If we did very little testing, America wouldn't have lost the most cases. But whose fault is that? You know, the bottom line is, you know what it is about these folks. They want to run everything. They want to be in charge. They want to dominate everything. But when it comes down to the blame, they run like they got COVID-19. They don't want none of the blame for nothing, but they want all the fame, glory, and the pats on the back for everything, but minus all of the blame and accountability. It's just, woo, makes for a bad leader when you act like that. Okay. And Trump's reservations about testing appear to be rooted in politics. Trump said Friday that he believes some Democrat hopefuls the economy doesn't, he blames them if the economy don't bounce back. So Trump is saying, and that is politics. If the economy don't bounce back, it's the fault of the Democrats. It's not Trump's fault. It's not his fault. None of this is his fault. Mm-mm. I will tell you, you look at some states, some people think they're doing it for politics, Trump said on Fox News Channel. Here we go again. But they think they're doing it because it'll hurt me. The longer it takes to hurt me in the election, the longer it takes to open up. But Trump's focus on how the pandemic makes him and the nation look doesn't get the country closer to being prepared and able to live with the coronavirus. We have to figure out how to live with this virus. And that's what we're not doing. Okay, this is just somebody from the infectious disease research. Okay. Mm-mm-mm. Look, the bottom line is the country is still struggling to contain this thing. You're not out of the first phase. That's why it makes me laugh when I read second wave. Why are you worried about a second wave when you deal with what you got in front of you now? What are you worried about a second wave for? It's not here. But the first wave of this thing is still going strong. Why are you trying to cut your focus over to a second wave? That's silly. That sounds like somebody with a child's mind, you know? And I just don't get how weeks later into this thing, they're still squabbling around with testing. There's still hospitals around the country that don't have PPE. And nothing is being resolved like it really should be. I saw an article, and I might do this article on the US actually passed up an opportunity to make N95 masks right here in the country. And I might be doing that in another video. So there's a lot of things that we're not even aware of behind the scenes. But, one thing I can say, they have dropped the ball badly in this country. You talking about looking bad? You already look bad. You've been looking bad on the world stage from day one of this virus being in the country and how it was handled. Now, they're saying they told Trump about this back in 2019, and he ignored everything. As soon as it popped up, the first few cases popped up, it should have been contained immediately. And it wasn't. You know, and China is bearing no accountability for this whole thing. And it all started with them. No accountability. Instead of being accountable, they're trying to point to Africans and claim COVID-19 came from them. So, as far as I'm concerned, all of you look bad. You all look bad. Leadership has been poor. If you want to call it leadership, I don't even know what the hell to call this shit anymore that we're looking at. But yeah, y'all don't come around nobody talking about some high IQs again. Don't do it. Don't do it. But y'all, please tell me what you think about Trump saying more testing makes the country look bad. Woo, you can't make it up, y'all. You just simply can't. Please leave your comment and subscribe. Don't forget to hit on the notification bell, and I'll see you on the next video. Peace, family.